Hello, everyone, and welcome to the special Mel Gee webinar. We'll get underway shortly, but first of all, could you please let me know if you can see and hear me okay? You can do that by typing a message on the chat. Good to see lots of people are already on board. Some names that I recognise. Warwick. Hi Trevor. Just all coming through okay? Volume and everything? Great. Okay, thank you, Anthony. Great, okay. Right then, we'll get underway. So, welcome once again to our special 10 Years with Mel Gee live Q&A. As the title suggests, tonight is to celebrate the 10 years that Mel and I have spent working together on his collection of winning services. So it all started back in 2015 when we teamed up at my previous publishers to start a service called Nags to Riches. That had a profitable 5 years until I set up the Bet Chat in 2015. Mel, being the loyal chap that he is, came along with me and we started First Class Racing, which is essentially a continuation of Nags to Riches. That had a profitable 5 years until I set up the Bet Chat. We'll talk lots more about First Class Racing later, but the headline points are that it's a quality over quantity service, focusing only on the very best races. It has a strike rate of more than 50%, so no long losing runs, and of course, it's been profitable every single year. Of course, First Class Racing continues to this day, but a couple of years ago, Mel dipped into lay betting with Second Class Racing. For the uninitiated, this is betting on horses to lose. There were bets nearly every day, and it was quite high maintenance, which contributed to Mel stopping the service after 12 months. Despite that, it was another service that posted a profit, with around 30 points made officially, and some subscribers making significantly more. Last but not least, we have all-weather winners, which along with First Class Racing makes up Mel's current winning strategies. It's had 2 profitable years out of 2, and as the name suggests, it focuses on all-weather racing. That's my preamble pretty much done and dusted, so here's what's coming up. The main event is of course the live Q&A, where we're bringing Mel to chat all things racing and betting and answer your questions. Feel free to ask Mel anything and anything by posting in the chat, and we try and get through as many as we can. If we miss anything, you'll also find BetChat Andrea on the chat, who can point you in the right direction. After the Q&A, I have a couple of videos to show you, which have kindly been recorded by current Mel Gee subscribers. And then, if you're interested in joining First Class Racing or all-weather winners, I'll give you the chance to sign up with our special once-in-a-decade discount. But that's not all, because we'll close out tonight's event with a special Mel Gee themed quiz, where we have over £850 worth of prizes up for grabs. There are some cracking prizes on offer, so make sure you stick around for that. Right then, without further ado, let's welcome the man of the hour, Mr. Mel Gee. Hello, Mel. How are you doing tonight? Oh, I can't hear you, Mel. You might have to unmute yourself.
I beg your pardon.
There we go. Excellent.
Good evening, Josh. Hi, Andrea, and hello, everybody that's taken the time to join us this evening. There's a pint there. Cheers to 10 years, and here's to the next 10 years.
Excellent.
Good health.
I have my Guinness here, as I'm now living in Northern Ireland. It was the only choice, really.
Well, that is my first sip, so it's never a good thing betting horse racing and beer. It's not a good mixture. So that was my first sip. So
yes. Well, so I guess, Mel, we'll have obviously some of our service members on board tonight, but we might also have some new people. So if you could just give us a bit of background about yourself to kick us off.
Okay. Well, those of you with a long and deep memory, I first started getting an interest way back when in 1970. Names that are etched into granite, really. Lester Piggott, Nijinsky, 1970. They won the Triple Crown, which is the 2000 Guineas, the Derby, and the St. Leger, the three classics that are open to males and females, actually. And that triggered my interest. There was a little horse being trained by Ian Balding down at Kingsclere in Hampshire in 1970, a 2-year-old called Mel Gee, who kind of caught my eye as being something special. And in 1971, Mel Gee himself won the Derby. He won the King George. He won the Eclipse. He went on to win the Arc, first English trained horse for 23 years to win the Arc. And that was at a time when the French were coming over here and plundering lots of our prizes. So that's where my interest started. It was never a betting interest. It was always horses, jockeys, courses, trainers, owners, and the whole industry. Betting came much, much later. And if ever you can say thank you for having no money, I say thanks in those days for not having money to bet with, because it didn't ever blur my interest in the whole horse racing industry. And here we are into my 6th decade, and still loving the racing as much as I ever did. I've been through shareholding of horses. I've been through syndicates. I've been a sole owner of horses, and the last horse I had was a partnership, actually, of 4 people. So it's been my life, given me my highest highs easily, but also some very low lows. But you pick yourself up and you go again if you want to, and I've always wanted to. And I'm in the situation now where the lows are very, very few and far between, to almost be non-existent. And that's why we're here tonight, to share further my exploits in the racing, particularly with first class racing, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and all-weather racing, which came to us here in the UK back in 1989. And I put something together there that is profitable and suits those people that want to be betting more often, to be more involved in that respect. And we'll talk about that later as well. So how's that? Is that okay, Josh?
Yes, yeah, excellent. And you said, obviously, you started off just purely for the love of racing rather than betting. And
Yes.
then I believe you had quite a long betting apprenticeship, as it were. You could talk us through that, your journey from average punter to a winning one.
Yeah. I didn't bet, as I said. Money wasn't something that I had very much of, and so I didn't bet. My first bet was probably back in 1970, very small bet, but that would have been on Mill Reef. And 3 years later, I can remember standing in Southend in a conservative members only club, because they had a television, and I got the principal sum of 50p on Red Rum when he won his first Grand National. So you can see, even from 1970, 3 years later, I'm a 50p person. But not being jaundiced by losing my own money allowed me to research and research and research, year after year after year, as the racing bug got hold of me. So I was kind of determined to find a way to make horse race betting profitable. And what a minefield. It's almost impossible to achieve that goal. And if you accept the figures which are bandied about by anyone, it still remains that 98% of people who bet on horses lose. So we, and that I'm talking to current members who are online that are part of either all-weather winners or particularly first-class racing, you're in the 2% that you can put hand on heart and say, I make money from my horse race betting. And so that's what I did. I just set out to find, why do horses win and why do horses lose? And back in the day when it would be mid-70s when I really sat down with a friend. He was a great help because he was a bit of a mentor and a motivator, and possibly even a father figure to me. And he would sort of push me, no, not push me, he would encourage me, keep going, I think we've got something here. We never did in those days, but you always learn something. And back in those days, I'm talking to you on an iPad, I've got an iPhone to my right, I've got a computer in the office, I've got a laptop in the office. I know Josh is on a laptop. We didn't have those sorts of things. We literally had the hard copies, the newspapers, and in those days it was the Sporting Life, and occasionally the Sporting Chronicle. The Racing Post had not been invented. Sheikh Mohammed hadn't arrived in the UK at the time when I was starting. He came, thankfully, along with the likes of his brother Hamdan Al Maktoum. They came later, and aren't we pleased that they decided to set up shop in Newmarket, the greatest training centre in the world. And I just set out. I would start with a pile. You can't see my hands, but if you can imagine, to the side of you, about 3 feet tall, a pile of Sporting Life starting on January the 1st. And then there'd be another pile and another pile next to that, a whole 12 months of hard copy Sporting Life publications. And I would just go through one after the other, burning the midnight oil. How can I prove why this horse won? How can I find something why this horse lost? And that's what I have today. I have a set of rules that are sacrosanct. They are most definitely set in stone. They are proven not by using some portal, some clever AI. They've been proven by hard work, hard fact, that you only get doing by doing it yourself. You see so many things by doing it yourself that just putting parameters into a database, it will never ever give you the knowledge that I was gaining as I was going through each newspaper. I could get to something like January the 21st, and I've got a string of 5 losers from what I was trying to make work. And that was it. Back to January the 1st and start again. But something in those first 3 weeks of newspapers, I would have seen something over the years, and it could have been to do with the going, it could have been to do with the draw, and I know, sat here, and you don't, but I know the effect of the draw all over the world. It's the same thing that's portable, and I know exactly when. If I think a horse is going to win, but it has a draw number that I think is wrong, then that becomes a no bet. I don't try to force the issue. That's how you lose money. That's how I lost money. And eventually you lose an amount of money over the years, and you kind of just say, I'm not doing that again. I'm not making that same mistake again. And that would be just the draw. But that took years upon years upon years to discover and then prove. Similarly with the state of the going, similarly with other things. And there's no one had my journey, no one in the world. And there is no one in the world that has what I have. And I'm happy to share my knowledge with you without actually saying this is what I do, but I'm very happy to share. Does that help, Josh?
Yes, yeah, and I think an important thing to say there is you can't understate the importance of that experience and that hard work. I think a lot of errors people make nowadays is they think that winning on betting is easy. They try and look for shortcuts. They turn up at the first service they see, which says, we win all the time, and they just expect there to be some kind of wave a magic wand and suddenly become profitable. But like all pursuits, you need to work at it to become good at it.
Indeed, part of my journey was like you and I here. This wasn't available then, but there would be an advertisement in a newspaper, the Sporting Life, or the Chronicle, or the Weekender, something like that. And I wanted to get behind that advert to get to the person who's writing the advert, because my starting point is always they know more than me. They will have had a better education than I. They would have had a better upbringing than I. So they must know so much more than I. How do I learn from them? And I did this time and time again, up and down the country, meeting people. And as the years went on, I realized they did not know what I knew. And I thought, I don't need tipsters, that they would call them themselves. They weren't tipsters. They were just, some were trying hard to pass on what they'd learned. Some were passing on inside information, which when you hear that 50 years ago, inside information, you want to be a part of it. But then my friend who I mentioned earlier, his saying was, if someone's offering you inside information, run the other way. Can you imagine how many times I did not run the other way? And that's the learning curve, because you've found one person that wasn't telling the truth, so the next person, he must be telling the truth. Blah. And that's how you learn, and that's how you lose money, and that's how it builds the circle, if you like, of one day you will reach that point and say, I've lost enough money trying that way, or doing the same thing over and over again, hoping it will be different, and it never is. So now I love to do what we're doing now, talk to like-minded people about my passion, and I will always listen to others, but when someone's saying to me, hey, we've got one going next week. I'll pass it on to you. Just not interested, because if it's a 12 runner race, I can guarantee you there'll be him or her and 11 others all have something to say about one or the other horse. And it's not the way you win. Yep. Or if it is, I've never found it. And in all my years, and as I said, I always tried to get behind the advert, and all the trainers that I've been involved with and still am, all the trainers, only one person, whose name I won't mention, only one person 30 something years ago it would be, said to me, this is running at Lingfield and it'll win. And I said, we'll give him his name, John. I said, John, are you sure? How do you know? He says, our horse will win at Lingfield, blah. And so I had a bigger bet than normal, and furlong and a half to go. I'm cruising in second, but my jockey was an experienced, the jockey against me was an experienced jockey. Our horse that I'd backed had an apprentice, and the experienced jockey almost outrode the apprentice, but she got the horse up by a neck. But that was the longest furlong and a half that I have ever watched. But that's the only time and that I'd been told it will win. Not because there was any skullduggery, just he said it will win. But it very nearly didn't through a poor ride.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, that's the other thing as well, isn't it? At the end of the day, there are animals involved. You know, it's flesh and blood. You can, with the best will in the world, there is no such thing as a certainty, really. So I find you've got to put that kind of thinking out of your head. Even if there is the occasional dodgy race, that's not really the way to make money on a consistent basis, I don't think.
No, it all comes down to simple mathematics. It's number of bets times strike rate times the price you achieve. So if you've got a 50% strike rate and you're getting an average 11 to 10, you're making money. You've got to. That's simple maths. That's it, really. And that became the goal to achieve. And I went from several hundred bets in a year, very many hundreds of bets in a year, like with first class racing, I will be 40 bets, but I'll be 55, 60% strike rate. And that's it. You've done it. That's the job that you set out to do. That was the goal. And you've done it. One bet a week, one bet in 9-10 days. But with that strike rate and with an odds against average price, it becomes the license to print money. And that's what I've been doing for over a decade now. But it took me 4 decades to get there. It is no easy journey.
Yeah. We'll talk about your services in more detail shortly. We are, of course, taking questions all evening. So if anybody has any, if they could put them in the chat. John has asked, did you ever meet Clive Holt, Mel?
No. Clive Holt, memory. I think he was the fellow that wrote the book Fine Form, I think. Fine Form Racing. And I believe I'm right. And his method was, let me get this right. It was something like 5 points for a win, 3 points for a second.
John says Fine Form. So
it was Fine Form, yeah. Oh, not lost it yet. And then you would get 1 point for a course winner, 2 points for a distance winner, and 3 points for a course and distance winner. And I think the maximum points you could get for one horse, I think, was 13. So that would be its last 2 runs was win-win, yeah, and a course and distance. So that made up 5 points for the win. So that's 10, course and distance 3, 13 points. Now that was fine, and lots of people went with that. The problem with that is the win tells you nothing. The one could have been the Derby, or it could have been a selling handicap. Yeah, that it doesn't make it doesn't distinguish between what a 1 is, or a 2, or a 3. And in my early days of research, eventually the penny dropped. All my research in those first 20 odd years, all my research was in handicaps, which is the most difficult sphere, are handicaps. When you think, what is a handicap? It's each horse is given weight to an ability, a rating, with the objective of all the runners going past the post together. Well, that never happens, obviously, but that's the objective. So how difficult is that? It's almost impossible. But what a fabulous training ground that was. And eventually, what that taught me was class. I went through a period where I was determining class by race course. And I would have, let's say, Newbury would be a class 1. I'm just trying to think. Nottingham Leicester would be a class 4. Southall would be a class 6. So I was, in the early days, determining class through course, thinking if a horse runs at Newbury, it must be a better horse than the horse that runs at Southall. It was a starting point and a learning point on class. Now, with first class racing, my whole raison d'etre, or whatever, is class horses against horses not of the class, if you like. And they're not there very often, 40 times, maybe a few more in a year. Well, I can wait for them to arrive.
And nicely leading on from that, Andrew says, I presume your first class racing was and has been your most profitable system?
Yes, Andrew. Apologies for the pinging. I'll put that there. My apologies. When you start to commit yourself to betting, and this was some years on from when I first started, the first thing that really hurts is when you lose your money. And so you think, right, need to tighten the rules a little bit. But the one thing that gets almost everybody, especially beginners, is a losing run. Now, people will think, oh, blimey, only be 4, 5 or 6, and then the winner's bound to come. Not a chance. You can go 15, 20, 25 bets and still not get your winner. And if you're betting them, which you should, because if you don't bet, you don't learn, because it doesn't hurt enough. So when I was racking up these 10s and 12 at a time, losing bets, it dawned on me what I need to do is have fewer bets and a very tight losing sequence. And that sounds easy. It took years upon years upon years. As I say, to win horse racing is all about class. I started classing race courses initially, but with first class racing, for example, we will be 53, 55, 56% success rate. That still invites a probable 9 losing run sequence. Well, we start with a 20-point bank, so we have double the bank we need for a 9 losing sequence. And this year, for the first time ever, I think I went 7 losers, and that really hurt. But then we put in 5 or 6 consecutive winners. It didn't hurt anymore because we work with a bank, we've got the money behind us, and we know that the winners will come. We know now because I've done the research, and I've been doing this is my 2nd decade. I know the winners will come. And the reason I know that is, I've used this analogy before, Josh. If I tie your legs together and then you and I have a race, I'm going to win every time. And that's what I'm looking for in a race. All the other horses have got their legs tied together except ours. And it just keeps winning, producing, and it just keeps doing what it says it should do. There we are.
No, it's great. And I think the consistency and the strike rate are 2 of the most appealing things about first class racing, and it's what a lot of the members are really pleased with and really enjoy. And I think this year in particular, the results have been quite interesting. As you say, there was that losing run, which I think was about 7 horses, something like that. And that was immediately followed, I think, by something like 15 out of 17 winners.
Yes.
You know, so it's it's, as you say, you've got to, once you hit upon something which works, it's important that you stick with it. And as I'm sure you say, that's another important part, discipline and bank management, making sure that you do have that 20-point bank.
Yeah, and this is why I'd say there's no one been through my particular journey. The discipline eventually comes to you when you decide you've lost enough money now. So the discipline comes, and then it comes back to those basic maths: the number of bets times your percentage strike rate times your average win price. And I think I'll do the figures later, but first class racing, when we major on first class, we're something like 53%, I think, which includes that awful 7. And in that 7, we were second, third, which it was awful. And I don't know why this is pinging on here. I do beg your pardon.
That's okay. As Warwick has just put up, actually, Warwick is a member of first class racing, and he says, also there was an 8 horse winning run this year. So
there you go. Thank you, Warwick. So it will come back, because that 7 losers, if you like, has then been followed by 8 winners. So there's our 53, 54%. And those prices would have been better than evens. There we are. We're printing money again. And it's all proven. It's not been done, as I say, by throwing parameters into a database. It's been done by sheer hard work, countless hundreds of hours, bloody mindedness, a few other things I won't mention, and here we are.
So we've got absolutely. That's the key thing. You've got to love what you do.
Yeah.
So Basil has been in touch. Obviously, you've got 2 services now, and he says, with now running a number of services, does this put a strain on your research?
No, no, not at all. How's best to explain? No, they are so different. The research into each service. I'm just trying to think. I've been I've been married 23 years, but 30 years together. We've never ever had a holiday where I haven't worked on holiday, but I can manage my time much better now because I'm not trying to prove to myself that what I do is going to be profitable to me. For example, on the all-weather racing, I've already done my work this afternoon when I was researching what's happening at the weekend in France for first-class racing. And I know there's a likelihood that we could be involved tomorrow on the all-weather. I have one more rule to prove tomorrow, which won't take me very many minutes at all. But I will also recap what I've done. I won't just every horse that I pick out, and I put my money on, by the way. There's never been a single horse that I have given to my clients ever that I haven't bet myself. But every horse I have been through that race, I don't know, between 4 and 7 times as a minimum. And when you know what you're doing, when you know what you're looking for, when you know where to look for it, it doesn't take hours. So if my wife says to me, dinner will be about 10 minutes, I think, okay, lovely. I'll pop in the office, and within that 10 minutes, I've checked again for the horse tomorrow if we're having a bet, or the horse in 2 or 3 days if I think we're going to have a bet. So I do things now in bite-sized pieces, and no, it's not a strain, not at all.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so as we've said, you currently have 2 services, first class racing and all weather winners. Could you just kind of give us a short summary of each and what who each service would suit, I suppose?
Yeah, we do have clients that are on both services, so both services can suit one person. So first class racing is a 20-point bank. Honestly, I believe we could use a 10-point bank, but why give ourselves any pressure? So it's a 20-point bank. Now, let me quickly say, some of you may be betting 3 or 4 or 5 horses a day. You might be the £5, £10 better, £10 each way, whatever. At the end of the week, you will have probably bet several £100 if you're betting every day, which is not unusual for people. So if you're betting that kind of money on maybe 20, 25, 30 horses, I changed to put that amount of money on one horse. Still the same amount of money. Now, so don't be frightened of having a bet. Now, quickly, I am not telling you to put lots of money on my selections. What I am telling you is start with a bank. And if you haven't got a bank, don't start. And don't go borrowing off of your neighbor or missing the mortgage or anything like that. You need to have a bank of money, and I suggest with first class racing, that is a minimum £1,000 bank, preferably a £2,000 bank, to give yourself the proper chance. Now, no one in all the years of operating first class racing, never have we got remotely close to emptying our bank. Even when we had the 7 consecutive losers, we were already in profit. So our losses, our winnings, we hadn't even dipped into our bank. So don't worry unnecessarily. So get yourself a bank is my first insistence. And if you can't, then please don't even begin to start. Most of our clients, going back a few years, they're still with us, which is fabulous. But they all would have started on around £1,000, £1,500 bank. They are now betting considerably more than when they first started, because now they've got the confidence, now they've got the winnings behind them, and they want to continue to win and to win well.
Yeah.
So get yourself a bank. First class racing, I touched on it earlier, it was to end the dreaded losing run. That's what it was designed to do, and it's achieved that. Allows you to bet with confidence. Yes, you bet in higher stakes, but remember, if you're doing the 5s and 10s and 20s 4, 5, 6 times a day, you're already betting that kind of money, and we're making profit, and there is absolutely no reason on God's earth why what we're doing will stop tomorrow or next week or next month. There would have to be a complete sea change in the way racing is set up in order for me to have nowhere to go with my particular model.
Yeah.
So I will quickly give you some figures. I go week 1, 2, 3, 4, right the way through to either week 52 or week 53, depending on how the weeks pan out. We started this year on the 30th of December. So week 1 for January for 2025 started on the 30th of December. And in 2025, we have had so far 38 bets. We've had 21 winners, which is a strike rate of 55%. The average win price is 1.295 or to 1, or as you do it in decimals, 2.295. Old money, that's slightly over 5 to 4, but not quite 11 to 8. So you've had 21 winners between 5 to 4 and 11 to 8 at a 55% strike rate. It is, and has been for years, a license to print money. So there's your figures, and that's why and how first class racing became what it is.
Yeah, and I think one of the real strengths is also how long the service has been going. And, you know, those figures that you've just given us, they're certainly not a one-off. It's not a one-off year. This is, I mean, first class racing has going since 2020. The full track record is on our website, which if anybody wants to have a look, we'll send you the link. But each year has been, you know, quite similar. The strike rate, I think, overall for the entire 4 or 5 years is, I think, just under 54%. So this year's 55% is, you know, it's pretty much the norm. It's no outlier. It's just, it's a consistent service.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of the time this year, we were working at well over 60%. It was ridiculous. It was fabulous. and then that 7 run, which culminated in began at Cheltenham, when I was most aggrieved. Any of the guys listening now, if you're into your racing, I'm sure you can cast your mind back to March of this year, and the starts given to some of the races were absolutely abysmal, disgraceful. And for our flagship event, it should never, ever have happened. But it happens regularly. And we got caught up in a couple of starts in March. I don't point fingers at jockeys. Everyone can see whether it's a good or not so good ride. But we did get caught up in a couple of the most awful starts at Cheltenham, which added to our 7. And even with that 7, as I said earlier, we were losing our winnings. Our bank was never, ever under pressure, ever. And it never, ever has been.
Yes, absolutely. Steve, I'm guessing these are members, just said John Bon comes to mind.
I was going to say John Bon, and I thought, no, I won't. I'll just leave it as 1 or 2 starts. John Bon was a false start when he was ready to go, and then there was nothing wrong. Bearing in mind, you've got 2 miles ahead of you. There was nothing wrong with the start. They all got away. They called them back, started again, and John Bon was 2-3 lengths off at the back rather than at the front. And his race was lost at the start. There's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing any of us can do about that. You could put it under the title, that's racing. But I just felt that it was a little bit unfair on us. There we go. Nothing we could do about it. We lost our money at the start, and we knew it. We knew it.
It's a question from Ian, which I think I can probably cover. Are the average odds at advised prices? Do you record at Betfair starting price? So Ian, those odds would be at advised prices, but one thing to say, and I'm sure Mel can build on it, is that because we're betting on first class races, as it were, there isn't an awful lot of price movement. And also bets are released on the day as well. They're not released the night before. So I'd say, although we don't record them to Betfair starting price, I'd say it would be a very similar price to the prices that we do record. And Mel, you only advise prices that are available across the board, pretty much, don't you?
Yep. I would. I'm not doing this and sharing my knowledge to upset people to come back at me and say I couldn't get that price because. I look at the prices, and as long as there are 4, 5 or more offering that price, then that's the price I'll advise. If there's only one price on offer, it would depend who's offering it. So if it was somebody like Treble 8 Sport, I would ignore it. If it was Hills or Bet365, I could mention it, but the price I would record usually is the next price. So it could be, let's say, 5-4 with Hills, and 11-10 with 6, 7, 8, 9 of the bookmakers. I would make that clear, and because I know not everyone has got every bookmaker account. But let me say and go on record, we don't cheat. We being me, I don't cheat. I don't cheat anybody at any time. I have no need to. I don't tell lies. I'd have no need to tell lies in my racing life or in my domestic life. And if I would lose sleep at night if I thought my clients were upset with me for anything, and I would have to have the last word on it and explain myself. And I don't want sleepless nights, and I don't want to have to keep explaining myself. That's for other tipsters, that's for other services. They run their business as they want to. Our business is run all above board, all honestly, and it's all possible for all of us. We're in it together. And as I said, you will never get a horse from me, a selection, without me having bet the horse before I give it to you.
Good stuff. Okay, slightly bigger picture question from Andrew Hole. If Rachel Reeves moves with plans to tax bookmakers more heavily, do you envisage this having an impact on first-class racing profitability? After all, the bookies will take the additional taxes back somehow, probably by tightening the book.
My honest answer with you or to you is I don't know, but I am watching that scenario as closely as anyone else in the whole industry. I am hoping that the racing industry has put their case strong enough that it is the online casinos, blackjack, poker, whatever, that it is they that should be taxed heavier than horse racing. We're a multi-billion-pound industry, and it is so important to Rachel Reeves's economy, our economy. She needs the money in the treasury, and it is not only the bookmakers that are affected. There are hundreds of thousands of people who could become unemployed overnight, out of a job, because the industry employs so many people. And I can't think for one moment that she is that stupid. I'm not going to get political, but the incompetence runs throughout that front bench. But I can't believe that she will be so stupid as to risk bringing an industry to its knees. So my honest answer to you is I don't know, but I am watching that like all of us will be with great interest. But I do think we will be spared somewhat. We'll see.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up the Q&A soon, so we're not keeping people all night. So if you haven't got any final questions, if you can stick them in the chat. Before we do, I'll just fire a couple of quick fire ones at you, Mel.
Sorry, just butting in.
Yep.
Are we saying anything on the all weather, or are we doing that in a minute?
We can do that in a second. I'll just
that Ian's got a question.
Yes,
and I've got his answer, but we'll come to it afterwards.
Yeah, I'll give you a couple of quick fire ones, and then we'll get to all weather. Favorite racetracks? Have you visited any outside the UK?
Yeah, I've got lots of favorite racetracks. I would say my most favorite in the UK for a summer's evening would be Newmarket July Course. I think that's absolutely wonderful. I have visited race courses outside of the UK, in the US particularly. I had good days at Calder Park, and I also had a very nice experience at Hollywood Park. And is Chepstow, is that out of England? Yeah, just. But no, in the US, Calder Park, Hollywood Park. My favourite in the UK would probably be Newmarket July Course in the summer.
Okay, good recommendations there. We know your favourite horse of all times, Milreath.
Yes, in one. Still is, always has been.
Excellent. And jockey all time and your current favourite?
Oh, jockey all time. It's what Jeff Lewis said of Mill Reef once. I think it was after he'd won the Gym Crack. Jeff Lewis said it was Mill Reef first and the rest were nowhere. And all-time jockey, it would be Leicester first and the rest. You start them at £7 worse than Leicester. The rest, he was the greatest jockey I ever saw. And like Henry Cecil said about Frankel, he was the best he trained. He's the best he'd seen, and probably the best anyone had seen. And I would put Leicester there. My current favourite jockey, well, on First Class Racing, I was saying earlier, if we could find a horse that is just different class against other horses, it happened in our last bet, which was in a little race course called Nantes, Nantes. It was just an egg and spoon race. And in this race was a horse called, it's just gone out of my head, Burr Castle, B-I-R-R, Burr Castle, trained by the genius that is Andre Fabre, owned by Godolphin. And this horse, some of you may remember, when it ran at York in the Juddmonte, I'm sure it was, it led from start to almost finish with the race at its mercy. And who's trying to catch him is Delacroix from the Aidan O'Brien, and the other Godolphin horse, ridden by William Buick, and his name won't come to me at the minute. Anyway, that is the top class race, the Juddmonte. And here's this Burr Castle at Nantes. Had he got the form? Had he got the draw? Had he got the ground? Had he got this? Had he got that? Had he got something else? Yes, he had. And at 5-2, all of us were on at best prices we could get. And so my current favourite jockey is Augustine Madame, who rode a brilliant race on Burr Castle. And so he's my current favourite, because I'd had that horse on my pad for about 4 days. And I honestly, as true as I sit here, I thought this is going to be 4-6, 4-7 at best. Or not backable because of the race course and the race it was in. So when it opened at 5-2, and it was 5-2 for over an hour with about 8 bookmakers or more, Augustine Madame rode a brilliant race, and we won by 3.5 lengths, pulling a tractor. Really good.
Excellent. And as you say, that was the most recent first class bet, which was a winner. The most recent all-weather bet was also a winner this Monday. And yes, we just finish up the Q&A just by covering off that. And Ian has asked for some profit figures for the all-weather service.
Okay, very quickly, the all-weather racing, it's something that I've looked at since 1989 when it first came on, but didn't really do anything with it until recently. Lots of people still want to have a few more bets, but winning bets. And so I decided to offer my all-weather winner knowledge. This year, again, starting 30th of December, we've had 103 bets. We've had 30 wins, which gives us a strike rate of 29 point whatever, call it 30%. The average win price is 3.05 to 1, or 4.05 decimals. So again, it's just profit, and I'm not doing a sales pitch on you, but I think we might have a selection tomorrow, and that's all it is. It's a selection. It might win, or it might do something else, but it will be just part of what we do. It'll become the 104th bet, and we'll see what happens. I hope that answers your question, Ian.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant, Mel. As I said, I think we'll probably wrap up the Q&A there, just so we're not keeping people too late into the night. But thank you very much. For everybody else, we've got a couple of videos, short videos coming up. Your chance to join Mel's services, and then a special Mel Gee quiz at the end where you've got some prizes to be won. So I hope you've been paying attention, as you'd have found a couple of the answers in amongst that chat there. So yeah, Mel, it's been great to talk to you. Great to see you again. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
cheers,
thanks, Josh. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and any opportunity to talk about horse racing, I'm not going to let it pass by. Yeah. Can I stay and listen to see?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Stick on. I know you haven't seen these videos yet, so
no, I haven't.
Only nice things have been said.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah. So as I said, shortly I'm going to give everyone the chance to sign up to one or both of Mel's services. But first, I wanted to share a couple of videos that existing members have very kindly recorded for us. So first up, we've got Steve.
Hi, I'd like to introduce myself. My name's Steve.
Come on, Steve, say something, even if it's only goodbye.
He was working a minute ago.
Member of First Class Racing, FCR, provided by Mel. I've been with FCR now for 3 years. Mel will tell you no 2 years are ever the same. Yeah, that's correct. My best year was the middle year, the second year. But what I have done every year is make a profit. Why did I choose the service? Well, when I come across it, it appeals to me because there isn't bets all the time, here, there and everywhere. First Class Racing is what it says on the tin. It's precise, it's pinpointed. And, you get the closed seasons changing over from the flat to the jumps and vice versa. And you will have to wait. Opportunities aren't there all the time. That appeals to me. What I would say is, if you are somebody who is looking for bets all day and every day, maybe it's not the service for you. But for me, making consistent money is right up there. I can't give any more credit to Mel than I already have done so. Superb service. In conclusion, what would I advise? Well, if you do come on board, number one, the use of a bank. Strict rule. Have a bank, put it in place, and don't waver from it. And with discipline, you can have lots of fun and do what 1 to 2% never do, and that's make money. And there will be ups and downs. That is the name of the game. That is the industry. But if you do come on board and you've got that discipline and you're looking for what I come on board for, then you will have lots and lots of fun. So take care and enjoy the service.
Thank you to Steve there. Next up, we've got one from Warwick. The volume on this one's not great, so you might want to turn it up a little bit.
Thank you, Steve.
Hi, my name's Warwick. Hi, my name's Warwick. I'm 75 years old. My first bet was on a horse called Octo that won the Grand National in 1959. That means I've been betting now for over 65 years. And in that time, I've come across a lot of systems and even more tipsters. Some good, some bad, some downright criminal. So I'm lucky. I'm in the top 2% of people that manage to make a profit from following the sport of kings. And I do that by mixing with other people who are equally successful, one of whom is Mel Gee. Now, I've had the pleasure of meeting Mel Gee in person along with Josh, who runs the platform. Mel is one of the most genuine people I've ever met in my life. He tells it the way it is, warts and all. And he doesn't give out bets every single day, because for Mel to give out a bet, it has to meet a set criteria, a criteria that's been developed over 40 years, a huge experience. I've now subscribed to two of his services, First Class Racing and All Weather, for several years, and I've always made a profit. Now, if you're one of these people who like 3 or 4 bets every single day, it may not be the service for you. Mel doesn't give us a bet every single day. But think of this, if you say place 3 bets every day at £10 a time, that's £30, that's £210 a week. Now ask yourself, do they actually win more than 50%? If they don't, think about taking that £200 and putting on a service that does give you the results more than 50% of the time. Now, if you haven't got the confidence to do that, do what I did. I started with £20 bets, and every time we had a winner, I put more than 50% back into my betting bank. And so now my stake is in 3 figures, and I can place bets with confidence, knowing at the end of the year I'm always going to be in profit. If you too would like to be part of the 2% club, give Mel a call. Join up now. Hope to hear from all of you soon. Cheers.
So there you have it. That was Stephen Warwick there. Thank you very much to both of you for providing those. Mel, I'm sure you would reiterate much of what they've said.
Well, I feel like I want to join the service.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Warwick. I found both videos very humbling, and I could hear that you were just being very honest and speaking from the heart, which is me. That's what I do, and it was very, very humbling to hear what you had to say. So thank you both very, very much. Thank you.
Right, thanks, Mel. Right, I also just wanted to share quickly an email we received from Peter earlier today, so I'll bring that up now. Yeah, so Peter emailed earlier. He said, "Hi Josh, hope all good with you. I'm afraid that granddad duties prevent me from being at the party this evening, so I thought that I could let you have a summary of my experience with Mel over the years. I first encountered Mel in my More Money review days when I was asked to look at his first favourite service. I was immediately impressed and monitored the service until it ceased because the type of race needed for selections was all but discontinued. Mel did not follow the then usual route of carrying on and hoping. He protected his clients by not offering bets. I've spoken with Mel on many occasions now and have always been struck by his realistic and honest approach to tipping, a rare commodity in my some 2,000 betting reviews, believe me. Although I'm now semi-retired, I have continued to monitor Mel's current services. Remember, you are copying Mel's personal bets with his services, so any pain is shared as well as the success. In all my years reviewing betting services, Mel stands out at the very top of the tree. He's also provided a couple of links to his proofing, which if you email us, I'll share the address later. We'd be more than happy to share. So that was Peter there, Mel, who I know you've had plenty of dealings with in the past.
I have, yes. Right back to the More Money review days, which would have been in the beginning, the 2015. So the start of this 10-year association. So again, I am just so humbled that Peter has taken the time out to write such lovely words and then bothered to send them to you for tonight. So I'm very humbled and I'm very grateful, and it makes I feel that it's just something else, that all the pain and the toil of some 55 years, it's all been very, very worthwhile, even for just those for Peter, Warwick and Steve. So thank you all. Very, very humbled.
Absolutely. Yeah, obviously Peter won't be watching this, but thank you, Peter. That email came completely out of the blue, so I added it in last minute. Right, so we'll have the Mel Gee quiz very shortly, but first of all, I just wanted to provide everybody with a chance to sign up. We'll also be sending out links in the replay tomorrow, so there's absolutely no pressure to sign up today, but I'll quickly run through the services, and if you have any questions, again, pop them in the chat and we'll get back to you either here or by email. So first class racing, it's a 20-point starting bank, much fewer than most racing services out there. Minimum stake we would recommend is £50 to £100. You can, of course, start small and build your bank up, as people like Warwick have done. It works out roughly around 2 bets every 3 weeks, so very low maintenance. Top class racing only, which usually means Saturdays, Sundays and festivals like Cheltenham, Royal Ascot, etc. Bets are released around 9 AM and you get access to a Telegram community where you can ask Mel your questions day and night, and he'll get back to you when he can and interact with people like Steve and Warwick. The headline figures, this is for all bets since we started back in 2020. It's a 52.7% strike rate, 18.6% return on investment, and 4 continuous years of profit. And that's on top of the years of profit before first class racing. So we've got a discount for you running for the next week. The good deal is a quarterly offer at £179.97, which is a £20 discount, and that comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, where if it's not for you, you can get your money back for any reason at all. You just need to email us. And the best deal is a £60 discount, and that's £539.97 annually. And that also comes with a extended 60-day money-back guarantee. For all-weather winners, that's slightly more high frequency and higher odds. So it's a 40-point starting bank. Probably recommend a minimum stake of £25. Around 5 bets per week, October to March. That's the main all-weather season. There will be some bets in the summer, but it's quieter during that period. All-weather only, as the name suggests. Again, bets released around 9 AM, and again, you get access to the Telegram community, which is very popular with our members. The strike rate for this, 30.6% with a 25.2% ROI. So that's actually above first class racing, but bear in mind, it's not been going as long. So, but either way, there's some excellent figures. And again, 2 consistent years of profit out of 2. No losing years with any of Mel's services. Again, we have a 10% discount on both offers, 11697 quarterly and 35997 annually. Both come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So again, you can try Mel out without really committing to anything. But the best deal of all, if you've not got either service, there's a special bundle offer with a £200 discount and a 60-day money-back guarantee. And I'm going to put a link to those offers in the chat now, if I can find it. I think that should come up in the chat now. But again, we will be sending it out by email in the coming days. So there's no mad rush and certainly no pressure from either of us. And we'll finish up with, I'm sure, what everybody has been waiting for, the Mel Gee quiz. Oh, first of all, yeah, deadline for all discounts is next Thursday, so they will be taken down then. We don't offer membership to First Class Racing all year round because we want to protect the prices. So it is worth getting in while you can. And if you have any questions after this webinar, the email is clients@thebetchat.com. So the Mel Gee quiz. The rules for this one are simple. The fastest person to give the correct answer in the chat wins. If you're one of the lucky winners, Andrea will take note of your name and we'll arrange your prize in the morning. So there's a few prizes to be won here. The first one, a bottle of Prosecco. And the question, so get your fingers ready. To 1 decimal point, what is the current strike rate of First Class Racing? And there is a bit of a delay, so I'll leave it a while.
Nobody wants Prosecco.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay. Marty 55, John 55.4. If no one gets it bang on, then we'll give it to the closest answer, but we'll give you a little while to get your answers in. All right, give it another 10 seconds, see if anybody else wants to chance their arm for a bottle of Prosecco. So nobody's got it spot on, but the closest is, oh, hang on, there's one more. So there's a joint closest here. Andrea, toss a coin for me, choose a number between 1 and 2.
Number 1.
Number 1. Right. The winner of that one is John with 52.9. The actual answer was 52.7. John and Steve, both very close. Unlucky Steve. John, if you can email us, clients@thebetchat.com with your address, we'll get that sent out to you tomorrow. So next up, me and Mel actually run another little service called the Windicut, which covers the big jumps racing festivals, Cheltenham, Aintree and Punchestown. And this prize is a free subscription to this year's Windicut. So that's worth £50, I believe. And the question, who is Mel's current favourite jockey?
Is this first one in?
Yeah. So this was mentioned earlier in the chat. Ian, the French guy. It's close. Oh, John's slightly closer there.
Yeah.
It's not the full name. Can anybody get his whole name?
French chap, Gabriel, not quite.
Right.
Well, we can certainly give John 50% discount.
Oh, John's on for a clean sweep of prizes at this rate. I'll give everyone else 10 seconds.
The French guy, I like it.
I feel like Ian should get it just for his guess. No.
Well, we got a French rode in Nantes last Saturday.
Yeah, close, Steve. Right, so I'm going to give that one to John. It was I forget his name. Augustine. What was his surname, Mel?
Madame.
There we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
The rider of our most recent winner. So, John, that's another prize for you. You're on fire.
Oh yes, it's okay. I thought I'd see it. That's John Madame.
Yes. Right. Next up, possibly the best prize. So I actually live in Northern Ireland now. I'm just down the road from Bushmills. And although I'm not really a whiskey drinker, I actually quite like Bushmills, so it's a good tipple. There's a 3 bottle up for grabs here. And the question, which racetracks has Mel visited outside of the UK?
I can almost hear the scratching of the heads.
People should have been taking notes.
Yep. You did suggest there could be some questions on that.
Oh, there we are. Is that correct, Mel? Hollywood and Calderdale?
It's not Calderdale, but that's good enough. Hollywood Park, yeah, that's half. Andrew's just put Hollywood, which is, again, is half right. To Andrew Hull, it was Hollywood Park and Calder Park, but I think Calderdale is
that's close
near enough. Well done, Andrew.
Well done, Andrew. Yeah, if you can email us, we will get that whiskey sent out to you. And then the final question, this is the star prize. You don't actually win, Mel, despite this lovely picture, but you will win the bundle deal, a year's subscription to both services. If you're already on the services, we'll add a year. So it's a really good prize, worth £1,000 really, £800 at the discounted rate. So the question for this, what year did Mel place his first ever bet? Oh,
yep,
straight in there, straight away.
Well done, Ian.
Well done, Ian. Hang on, ooh. 1970, very good. That was very impressive, Ian.
1959, Andrew, what are you trying to say?
Oh, you've got 1989 there. Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I like that. 89. Yeah. Ian was bang there.
Very well done, Ian. Again, if you can email us, we will get that sorted out for you. And yeah, I think that's just about it for today. Thank you very much for coming and joining in. As I say, we'll be sending out a replay tomorrow. We'll also be sending out links to the offers if you aren't already on and would like to join up. Do send us in any further questions, or if you want a full copy of the track record, it's on the website, which is thebetchat.com, but we can also send you a link. But yeah, otherwise, I think that's us. Thanks again, Mel.
No, thank you for setting up this evening for people to join. I've thoroughly enjoyed it and could keep going, but I know others have got other things to do. So, no, I've loved it. Thanks, everybody, for joining in, and I wish you the best of very good luck with your betting.
Great stuff. Thanks, everyone. Bye.